There is no bigger name in local boxing, Capital Region boxing history than Bob Miller and the Miller family, his sons Shannon and Sean. No bigger name. And I have covered the boxing quite well over the many years, for 30 years. And a lot of stories over those many years centered around Bob Miller and his family. Pete Iorizzo joins us here every Monday morning on Big Board Sports, and we react to his column. And his column this week, unfortunately, is Miller faces the fight of his life. Pete Iorizzo is the columnist, sports editor for the Times-Union, joins us here on Monday morning. Good morning, Pete.
Hey, Roger. How's it going?
I'm doing well. I did not know about this story until, honestly, I read your column. On Sunday morning. I might have heard something. I didn't know the extent. And I'll let you take it from there. But Bob Miller right now is in a real fight.
Yeah, for sure. What happened was he was in. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know who Bob Miller is, he like you said, he's probably arguably the biggest name in the local boxing community. His sons Shannon and Sean were both professional fighters, and he was involved with Mike Tyson's promotion back very early in Tyson's career. So he has a farm up in the Plattsburgh area where he spends most of his time now, and he was in a car accident, I want to say a week ago Saturday, and he was left paralyzed from the neck down. Initially, the word was that he had very little chance of ever regaining any use of any of his limbs, although a few days later he did get some better news, and doctors maybe gave him a little bit of a better chance. He underwent surgery on Friday, and last I heard from Shannon on Saturday, he had come through that, and now is the start of what's going to be a really long battle for him, and the family is trying to raise some money too, because they're sure he faces some pretty daunting medical bills too when all is said and done.
Yeah, I'm sure, and again, we will reach out to our part here as we always do, and I've known Bob Miller for a long time, and he is a great guy. But I heard this news, I went, wow, that is awful news. He underwent, as you wrote in your column, surgery Friday night, 6 days after his pickup truck rolled over near his farm in Plattsburgh, fracturing 2 vertebrae in his spine, and that's just devastating. There's no doubt. And you talk about putting everything on hold. I mean, they just do everything around that sport of boxing. And, I think maybe it was Shannon who said in your column, this is round 1 of the fight. This is round 1. That's how they're going to approach this.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just in the very early stages now. Before his surgery, Shannon had told me, the doctor told me he had maybe a 20 to 30% chance of getting use of his hands back at some point, and Shannon said that was really a huge lift to his spirits, just to go from thinking he had no chance to thinking he had maybe a 1 in 3 chance was a pretty huge thing for him. But I mean, obviously, I can only begin to imagine how hard it is on his family to see somebody in that kind of a state. I can't even imagine. It's really a shame.
Well, prayers and thoughts from the Capital Region entirely, and certainly those who follow the sport of boxing. Prayers and thoughts to Bob Miller and Shannon and Sean and the support that he's going to need over the next however long it takes. And we'll let you know where you can help out, make some donations, because there will be some medical bills involved. No easy transition going from that to the NFL, but let's do it. And Pete, you're a Jets fan. What do you do now if Geno Smith is healthy enough to start? And you made a decision last week that you're going to start Geno Smith, but you saw Ryan Fitzpatrick come in and lead you to a win and lead you to 3 touchdown drives. What do you do, Pete?
Yeah, I'm not sure there's any right answer there. Only the Jets could manage to have such a mess on their hands. I mean, I guess when you think about it, they've been going through they've been trying to find a franchise quarterback for 2 decades now. So, maybe a lot of this is kind of familiar to Jets fans, but I don't know the answer. I mean, on the one hand, Geno Smith certainly didn't do anything to lose the job, during the quarter he was in the game on Sunday. On the other hand, like you said, Ryan Fitzpatrick came in and did a nice job and got you a win. So, my suspicion is it doesn't really matter in the long run. 1, because the season's over anyway, but 2, I suspect the Jets at some point are going to want to get a look at Bryce Petty to see what they have there. He's just coming off an injury, and he was out for about a month. So the Jets are probably thinking he needs a little more time to get ready, and these two guys can just kind of keep things going until he's ready to step in. So I think from that sense, it doesn't even really matter whether they go with Fitzpatrick or Geno for the next few weeks.
Well, it'll be good for our radio show this week to figure it out.
Seriously.
It'll give us something else to throw out
segments.
there. Yeah, that's a couple of segments right there on the radio. I would go with Fitzpatrick, but that's me. And I also think, to be honest with you guys, I think that the Jets here with their schedule coming up, they might be able to play themselves back into contention here. I mean, if they rattle off a couple more wins here, get close to 500, who knows, right? I mean, it's certainly not out of the question.
No, I mean, the problem is when you're 2-5. I mean, last year, don't forget, they were 10-6 and still missed the playoffs. So, just to even get to 10-6 at this point, you're looking at having to go 8-1 the rest of the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can they get to 9-7? I still think that's an uphill climb. They do have. You're right. They do have some winnable games coming up, starting with the Browns next week. But just because the Jets managed to squeak out a win over a Ravens team that I don't think is particularly good, that doesn't suddenly make me think that the Jets are going to go 8-2 the rest of the way.
Pete Iorizzo, every Monday morning here on Big Board Sports, reacting to his column and more. Pete, thanks for a few minutes. Have a great week.
Okay, thanks, Roger. Take care.
Pete Iorizzo, columnist and the sports editor for The Times.